Servus.
Marhaba.
Hola. Hello.
I'm inspired that there's so many people working to accomplish the same goal of creating a connected future.
By having students lead clubs on campus directly supported by Google developers, that's the best way to reach out to students.
It's really inspirational always to hear about members of the community who echo your values and echo your beliefs.
I've been listening more than I've been speaking, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing because I'm just getting all these ideas.
Google, it needs to reach a wider audience and be more relatable as a company, and I think Google is one of the brands that is very good at doing that.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our Flutter Workshop Series. I'm Carlos Degalado, the DSC lead at Northeastern Illinois University. And yeah, before we get started here today, like always, we want to introduce the members of the team. So Danny and Mohammed, if you'd like to say hi to everyone real quick.
Thank you, Carlos, and hello, everyone. Thank you for connecting with us in our final episode, episode 5 of the Flutter series. I'm Mohammed Bungash and a member of the Google Student Developer Club, and will continue helping Carlos and Danny with this series, and I would like to hand it off to Danny.
Yeah, so thank you all so much for joining us for our final episode. Really excited for y'all to see a little bit more about Toast notifications. So with that, Carlos, go ahead and take it over. I know we have a little bit to cover today and want to make sure we finish on time. So without further ado, Carlos, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Mohammed. All right, everyone. As you know, this is the last episode of our Flutter Workshop series. So if you've made it this far, thank you. We really appreciate the engagement and the involvement making this possible. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be a really short episode today. We're not definitely, I know we've been saying that the past couple episodes, but this one for sure is going to be a short one. It's Sunday, so we're going to finish it up, wrap it up, and hopefully you guys can have your app completed by now. And, you know, after this episode, and you'll be able to customize it, make the little changes, and you'll actually know a little bit more about navigating through the development process. So let's get started here. We're going to go over, as usual, the schedule. The schedule's, you know, right in front of you. We're on episode 5. It's March 28th. And yeah, final episode. I think that's enough said about that. Excuse me. So yeah, typically, and I don't know if you're tuning in now for the first time, but typically we go over, you know, a revisit of the previous episodes, just briefly, and, you know, just kind of summarize what we're going to do today. So episode 1, we had went over our fonts, and we also created our colors for our entire app. You know, we brought in the fonts family, the colors, you know, we got everything kind of ready, getting it set up so we can, you know, start developing. Then we also configured our Pubspec file. That was kind of like, you know, configuring things, bringing in our packages that we're going to be needing, specifying the font families that we downloaded and brought in. And we also went over our code, our routing code generator, which kind of auto-generated a bunch of code for us, you know, magically. We put in a little bit, and, you know, it created a whole chunk of code that, you know, we're going to we use for navigation, you know, using the AutoRoute feature. And that's one of the cool things about AutoRoute. That's why we were teaching it in this workshop, is kind of bring that to light, you know, bring that to some people that may not have been familiar with it before. Episode 2, we went over the main method. Once again, it's just a simple little pointer. And then we also created our app.dart file, which, you know, covered our routing. We actually implemented some of the code to you know, get ready to start navigating, creating our navigation methods. We went over the theme, and we created a theme and a text theme method to build them out for our app. And remember, those are like a centralized place so we can make our changes throughout the app, as far as colors and text themes go and fonts go and stuff like that. So we don't have to make a bunch of different changes everywhere. You know, it's centralized. So we just make one change and it goes all throughout our app. Episode 3, we covered our login page. That was the UI that you see here on this emulator. It was just a simple UI, you know, a password, username, We created a logo and a text widget, and we put those in a column widget, and then we sat those. It's all sitting in a list view widget. So if you want to see how to do that, if you happen to miss that, then definitely revisit. Go check out episode 3, and you'll get caught right back up. Episode 4 was yesterday actually. And that covered our homepage, our menu page, and our settings page. They're really simple pages to create, simple routes to create. Excuse me. And yeah, they were just, we discussed the app bar layout, the format of it up towards the top. There's a specific format when you use the app bar widget. We discussed that, and we kind of just created just a simple UI. Oh, and we also created the methods too for navigation, so we can navigate from our home page to these other pages. That's just kind of like a test run course, so you'll be able to understand how that kind of works. So you can, from here on out, you should be able to create your own routes and know how to point them to that. You just kind of walk through the process of creating that, those routes using the app generator, or the routing generator. And the episode 5 is today. So today we're going to be finalizing everything. We're going to, actually, it's going to be really quick. I know in previous episodes I said no copy paste, but today we're going to break that rule simply because it's the safest way, and I believe it's the most efficient way to do it. You'll see in a second. But that's what we're going to be doing for our toast notification, and as well as the app icon. Not as well, but for the app icon, we're going to be covering today too. It's not going to be copy and paste stuff. Oh, actually, you know what? Technically, it is going to be a little bit copy and paste maybe. So yeah, I stand corrected. But yeah, we're going to cover just those 2 quick topics, and then we're going to get you all out of here quickly, hopefully. And that being said, Danny, would you like to come say hi to everyone while I get everything set up here? 1 second.
Absolutely. So first of all, I want to thank you all for joining. And I also want to, call your attention to the description. We do have a couple links in here which you may want to take a look at before we get started. Carlos is going to be covering toast notifications. You'll see a link in our description there. Please go ahead and pull that up. And then there'll also be a local files link. Please go ahead and pull that up as well, because we want to make sure that you have all of these files and everything ready to download. That way, as Carlos goes through it, you can make sure to follow along as best you can. So, Carlos, are you ready?
Yep, ready to go.
All right, Carlos, go ahead and take it away, my friend.
Thank you. All right, so as you can see here, I kind of already have a window open. Excuse me. This is our notes. This is the notes that we've been providing the whole time throughout the series. This is kind of just a bunch of links that you kind of need. They help if you're just getting started. This will help you up in the beginning. You have your downloads for your Android Studio and your Flutter SDK installs. The links up here, but the reason why I brought this up though is because we want to really specify this logo files that you see here. If you want to bring up that document and go to your logo files, if you haven't already. If you in episode 1 and 2, if you have already downloaded our assets and put them in the assets folder, which is 2 image files, if you've already done that, you don't need to do anything. I'm sorry, I should have specified that at first, but this is for anybody who's just now tuning in. You don't have any logo files particularly that we're going to be using, so you could find them here at this link. I believe we put the link as well on screen. So that being said, that's where you're going to find those for today. But since we already have them, if you've been following along already, you already have them in your app already. So we're just going to do what we've been doing. And first things first, we're going to go and open Android Studio. All right. All right. And once you have that open, like I said, it should open the last opened project you had. If it doesn't, if it's open in a different project, maybe you're testing on something else, it's, you might want to navigate back to the one we're working on, which you'll find that in our file, and open a recent. That should be up towards the top somewhere. This one in particular is called Flutter Series app. That's the one we've been using thus far. Okay. Maximize this screen. All right, so this is the folder that I was referring to, the assets folder that we should already have in your project. If you don't have it just yet, we've already pointed, to the links I've showed you in the documents as well. It should be in the description. There should be a link in the description as well that takes you straight to that. So if you don't already have that folder, definitely copy that and paste that into here. Or you might want to create, go to your highest level folder and right click it, go to new directory, create a new directory called assets, and then just, copy paste those files right in there. right in here. Just copy them from the window, and then you would right click right here and then just paste them in there. It's that easy. But for now, this is the one that we're going to be using. App icon, this is the one we need for today. As you can see here, we have a couple of windows open from yesterday that we were working on. Those are our routes. So why don't we close these out? But we don't really need the settings. We don't really need the menu, but we do need the home. Okay, that's important. We kind of need that. I remember if you remember from last episode, we said that we were gonna have some more code in here. It might look a little bit different. Well, today this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna change it up just a little bit. So let's see what we need here. I don't think we need anything else. We can just close this for right now. All right, so the first thing I want to show you is, okay, toasts. We're gonna create the toasts. So the first thing would be, we're gonna turn this into a stateful widget. That'd be the first thing. So currently our home page is a stateless widget, because remember we said it doesn't have to maintain any state whatsoever. So we need to change that though. We're actually gonna turn this into a stateful widget. Okay, so we're gonna do above here, we're going to create another, actually this actually is going to be our state class down here. So yeah, let's just keep that right there. We're going to come up here and create a class. We're going to call this one home page. I know it says it right here down here as well, but we're going to change this line as we go. So we're going to first come up here, we're going to do home page just as you see below. We're going to do the same thing, extends keyword, and then this one we're going to extend a stateful widget. Okay, capital W stateful widget. Okay, and then inside the stateful widget, we need to create an overridden call. All right, we're going to override, and then from here we're going to put our create state method. Actually, before we go and write that, let's fix this down here. We're going to fix this and create our state class. It's actually going to be a private class, and then we're going to do home page, go to the end of it, and state, home page state, and then we're going to remove this stateless widget right here, and we're going to keep the extends keyword, though we still want that. We're going to keep the extends keyword, we're going to extend state, okay, and then arrows, and inside the arrows, we're going to put our name of our class, which is home page, okay, just like that. Perfect, looks good. All right, so now that we got that, we're going to go in under this override that we have prepared, and we're going to call this class right here. We're going to, label this class right here as data type underscore home page state, and then we're going to create state, a create state method. Nope, it's a little c. Create state. It's not right. Create state, and then we're going to have that pointing to the home page state class, and then we're going to have our parentheses in there, and then we're going to end that with a colon or semicolon. I'm sorry. Page state. Oh, I'm sorry. I see the error right here. It's not capitalized. It's not matching the class name. Okay, perfect. Let's enter. Auto completed that. There we go. Now everything looks good. All right. So yeah, we created our stateful widget, and we turned that stateless widget into a stateful widget now. Now it's a home page stateful widget and then this is a state class that's holding the state. As you know, we had some init state method we had prior to, and that in our login page we had. But for this one, we're going to bring some code in. I actually thought we were going to write out a lot of code today, but it turns out the better idea is actually to do that. We're going to open up a browser. This is actually the better way to do it. And then we're going to type in, well, in your Google search or whatever, just type in Flutter Toast. All right, and then the first option that should come up, I mean, there's a link that we're going to provide to that's going to have the Flutter Toast code. It's in the description, and I'm sure it's getting put up on screen at some point here. Thanks, Danny. But this is kind of just like a little walkthrough of how to get to there. If you kind of don't remember how to get there, you don't have the link, you just Google Flutter Toast, and then it's going to pop up the first one, which is the pub.dev page, your docs. We're going to go to that, and right here it's letting you know this is Flutter Toast 8.0.3. This is the most recent version, and it tells you there's two types of toasts that we're gonna can do. We can have a toast with no context, and this one requires a build context, and this one actually supports all platforms right here. So this is the one that we're gonna use. We're gonna go down to the one with, not the one with no build context. We want the one with build context. Right here, toast with build context, all platforms. That's the one we want. Okay, so this code that's in here is the one that's provided by the Flutter Toast team. It's a good code to use. I mean, honestly, they kind of expect you to bring that in. You can write it out by hand if you want to learn it all. In all honesty, you can do that. But I think for today's lesson, we're just going to copy it. Just copy the code, copy to clipboard, because it has, I mean, this is basically a template that we're going to use regardless. It's a good place to start. And we're definitely going to customize it a little bit, but it's a good place to start. So we want to copy all that code, and we're going to come back in here into our homepage state class. We're going to give them space above the build method, and then we're going to just Control V, bring all that code in there. Let's clear up some of this empty space in between our build method and that. Okay, so yeah, it looks like we're all set up almost. We see some red lines here, but I mean that's indicative of development. We're getting there. There's some things we still need to do. So it's letting us know that we need to import. I believe that's what this issue is. So we're going to Alt Enter. Yep, we need to import the fluttertoast.dart file. All right, and once we do that, everything gets cleared up. This gets cleared up. Our data type gets cleared up, as well as something down here that was toast gravity that was red as well. Those two just got cleared up. We have our init state ready to go. It starts with the super call. We have our variable up here declared. It's initialized right here. And then this is the show toast method. I don't know if you remember. Actually, we're going to need to open. Is it in our homepage? I think it is. Yeah, it's in our homepage actually. So let's scroll down here to in our build method, and we're going to scroll down to our search icon. It was one of our actions, remember. And remember, we commented out the onPress method because we wanted to see what it looked like on the emulator, and it wasn't letting us do that because it was giving us an error right here saying that this method was not yet created or just wasn't recognized. So we commented it out. Let's go ahead and click that line, and we're going to re-comment that back out. And as you can see now, it's cleared up. It doesn't show that it's unrecognized. So let's go up here. I think that should be all good. All right. Let me see. I'm sorry if you hear me. All right. Sorry for the distraction, yeah. Okay, so back on track here. We did everything we needed to do here. We're going to open up an emulator here. Get it running, get it going. All right, let's go ahead and shorten this window down a little bit. All right, this is our emulator. This is what we got so far. We just remember now we have to rebuild it though. Everything that we see here is from our previous episode. We haven't rebuilt it just yet. So why don't we go ahead and let's click run, and we're gonna go ahead and build the project again. Okay. Let's see what this does, see what it looks like. It should be good to go though. Looks like everything's all cleared up. All right, let's see. Running. Remember, if you see anything down here, that's typically, you don't want to really be doing too much. Just want to let it do its thing, let it build up, don't want to congest the system. Especially slower running computers, it could be a little bit too much for it to handle. 1 second. And as we're waiting, you know, the last episode, you know, this is kind of what we've been asking. Anybody that's viewing now, maybe leave in the chat. If you haven't done it before, leave it in the chat. We kind of want to know where you're at in the world, where you're watching this from. We really appreciate the involvement. And it kind of gives us something to do while we sit here and wait for this. There we go.
12 seconds later.
That's so funny. That's totally Danny's idea. You got to get credit for that idea. All right, so this is our rebuilt app right here. As you can see, it's so dynamic and complex. No, okay, it's actually just still building. Just hold on 1 second, putting everything together. And this is actually one of the best things about Flutter is that, you know, when you make these changes, you actually can hot reload and you can see these changes being done instantly, rather than with Android. In Android, you have to rebuild your project every single time, and this is a rebuild right here. So you have to, you know, whenever you make a little change, you got to wait for it to completely rebuild every time, which is the reason why Flutter is the king right now in mobile app development. And I know that's an opinion, but I think some other people agree with me on that. So we're going to go and click next just to look at our dashboard, and then we're going to check out, and so remember, it was grayed out here a little bit. Now it actually looks like an icon. So why don't we click that and see what happens? All right, perfect. Our toast is all working. Let's click it again. Oh, popped up there too. Didn't know that was going to happen. Let's click it again and see what happens. It pops down here, and then it shows up top. Okay. So first, what we want to do is actually let's change some things. We're going to change this color here. We're going to adjust this color. We're going to go into the color property. Let's go back. Let's leave the colors green, and let's call on one of our colors that we already have. So let's do app blue. We'll do blue primary. See what that looks like. We haven't been using that. We'll do app blue primary, and it doesn't look like it's recognizing it. So what we want to do is hover over it, Alt Enter, and then press Enter to import that library, the colors file. I'm sorry. So now it recognizes it as app blue primary, and then let's change. Actually, let's Control Save to see what that looks like. All right, now press search. Oh, it's darker now, but we still can't really see it. And this is, I don't know why that's popping up there on the top. Okay, so we are going to change the text first. Let's change this text, because since this search feature, it doesn't really work yet. Okay, so it's not functioning, but say we have created an app and we want, you know, to kind of let people know that that feature is still to come or whatever. This would be the perfect time to kind of create a toast and to add that kind of message in there to add a little bit of functionality to the button. So for the text widget down here, we're going to go into the quotes. These actually should be single quotes. I don't know why it's provided with double quotes. Single quotes, and then we're going to put for now settings page coming soon. Perfect. And then let's end that with a comma, and then we'll go down and actually let's adjust the color of that text. So what we're going to do is we're going to go, 1 second, let's kind of go here, bring that down, and, all right, tab in. Okay, so from here we're going to do, no, maybe style. And then for now, we're just going to do a text style widget, okay? And in that text, it's missing a comma at the end of it. In there, let's change our color of our text. All right, and we're just going to simply call on the colors. So actually, no, we can do app white. All right, app white. Now let's click Control Save to save that, and then let's see what that looks like. We're going to click OK. Perfect. It looks like it's coming along, but we do want to change that check mark. Let's change that icon as well. So let's give it something a little bit more error associated. So we're going to do icons.error up there, okay? And then let's click Control Save, run that. Okay, but it's looking a little dark, so let's change the color of that as well. So we're going to change color property of the icon. Let's bring that down to. We're going to change the color property of the icon, and we're going to do the same thing to app white. Okay. Now let's click Control S to save. And we're going to try that. All right, perfect. That actually looks really good now. Why it's popping up towards the top left, I do not know. It's saying it's supposed to show toast at the bottom. Oh, no. Okay, see, okay, perfect. Okay, so this is what's going on. When we copied all of that code, was it in here? Yeah, when we copied all of this code into here, we actually brought in this as well. That's a mistake I should have caught. Instead, we really only need this code up towards the top. This one underneath here, it's letting you know within that comment too, it's saying custom toast position. So if we want to have a custom toast position, like in the far top left corner, for instance, that's the code that we will use for our show toast method, rather than this one right here. You see? This one's just the standard one that they give us, and this is going to be the one that pops it up right at the bottom. So let's go ahead and go up to right here. And I think, you know what, we're going to keep it there, though, because it's another good thing, too. I mean, it could congest your code if you have a lot of stuff you don't really use. But maybe, you know, next week I decide that, you know, having a custom position might be better, you know, or just slightly to the left. Rather than having to go out and hunt and find that code again, I can just keep it in my code right here. And what I'm going to do right here is just highlight that specific block of code. And I'm going to Control/it and comment it all out. Okay, so if I do need it, I can take that right out, and I can just comment this out. But we're just going to keep that right there for right now. You don't have to. You can delete it if you want. Sometimes I totally recommend deleting it. Don't keep it around if you really don't need it. But, you know, for teaching purposes, it's good to know that, you know, that you can keep stuff around just in case you don't have to rehunt it back down. So yeah, so we're going to go ahead and Control S to save this. All right, and then now let's try this. Let's press the search, and boom, pops up right there. Let's do it again. It looks good. It doesn't come up here. See? So now look, if we want to go to our menu, we click menu. We can go back. We can go to our settings page. We can go back. And if we want to let them know that this page is coming soon, we got that there too. So that's perfect. And if you want to change how long that pops up for, you can change the duration right here. As you can see, you can change it to, it's set for 2 seconds, but you can set it for whatever second you want. I don't know if there's a minimum or maximum on that. Obviously, minimum would be 0, but or 1 probably. Yeah, maybe you could do less than 1. But yeah, so that's how you set the duration. You can still do some adjustments here if you don't like what you're seeing here, but that's how, you know, you kind of get it implemented, ready to go, to make sure it works first, and then you go and make the changes. So yeah, so we have all those set up. We have our toast ready to go, and now let's go ahead and go into our app icon really quickly, and we'll get that cleared up, and then we'll be done. So for an app icon, I don't know if you've ever seen Angela use Udemy course. It's definitely what I got started with Flutter. It was a good place to start. Some of the things you might see right now are similar to that, but I just wanted to make note of that in case you guys see that. You're like, oh, this is, I recognize this. That's definitely where I got it from. Shout out to Angela Yu. So what we want to do is show our app, all our apps in our phone right here, in our emulator, for instance. I think we swipe up. Yep. Okay, click and swipe up. And then we have all our apps here that were created. As you can see, there's some Flutter default apps right here. One of them is ours right now that we're using, the Flutter Series app, which is this one, Flutter Series right here. As you can see, it just is given the Flutter default app icon right here. And we kind of want to change that. We want to make it look similar to something like this. We want to make it, you know, customized to something that fits our logo, our company, or whatever it is that we're creating. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start by creating an image asset, because, okay, so this is an Android emulator. If you're running on an iOS, you know, emulator or simulator, it's going to be different because you're designing for iOS at that point. When you create your app icons, they're going to be in a different place. I know Flutter's cross-platform. It still is cross-platform, but it's just that they're not necessarily, the app icons aren't found in the same place. So that's what I'm kind of going to show you right here. So when you open up your directory towards the left, you'll see, you know, you have your main main, your highest level folder, and then you have your assets folder that we created. Okay, and then you have your Android folder right here. All right, you have your Android and you have iOS right here. Okay, so these are going to be where your app icons are located. So why don't we open up our Android folder? Okay, and then we're going to open up the app folder, and then we're going to open up the source folder, and we're going to open up the main folder, and then in main, we're going to be dealing with our res folder, because in Android app development, this is the only, and when you're dealing in an Android application or you're creating one, this is the only folder you'll see. You won't have the Flutter series and iOS or anything. It's just this from here on down, so definitely a lot of you Android developers out there, you're probably familiar with this a little bit. If not, if you're iOS developer and you're wanting to make a cross-platform app, you want to change your Android version of the app icon, this is how you would do it. So you would go into this hierarchy right here, and in your res folder is where you're going to find your some of your files that you use throughout your Android project. The mipmap files are where your app icons are going to be located. But what we're going to do is actually we're going to right click. How should I start this actually? Okay, so first let's open up the folder where your assets are located. Okay, that'd be a good place to start. So let's go down to our assets folder. Okay, and then we're gonna go to app icon. So we need right click app icon, and then we're gonna go to show and explore. Since this is a Windows computer I'm on, show and explore is what it would say. Reveal and finder is what it should say if you're using an Apple iOS Apple product. So we're gonna go to show and explore. All right, and we're gonna open that folder. So it's gonna let us know where this folder is located. Okay, and then we're gonna click up here, and we're gonna get this path. We're gonna get that whole path that this file is located in. Okay, we're gonna right click that path, and we're gonna copy that path. There's multiple ways you can get that path. You can actually go through this way to get it, but I think if you start right here, it's the best way because it's gonna direct you right to where you want to go. So definitely copy that path where that file is located at. And we're going to go back into our res folder that we had, and then we're going to right click the res folder. We're not going to go into it, but we're going to right click the res folder. We're going to go up to new. We're going to go to image asset. Okay. And under image asset, we're going to point right here, or we're going to highlight all of that. We're going to control V, and we're going to bring that path of that folder in first, but it's not pointing to the image file that we need. It only points the path from the up to the folder. So see, it says right here, please select the foreground image file. So it still has yet to recognize the file. So but now we're pointed in the right folder now. So let's click on this browse folder, and it should open us up right to where it's at. If you don't do that, then you're going to have to find where your Flutter this project folder is located on your computer, and then you're going to go into that, which is this project is Flutter Series app. We're going to go into that, and then we're going to go into our assets folder. All right, and then it should be right there. So it automatically, if you copied and pasted in there, it should take you straight to this folder, and then you just open up your assets. It should even actually take you straight to that, and then from here we're going to click our app icon. Okay. Perfect. It's going to bring it in just like that. And as you can see, it's a little bit out of the circle. It's a little bit too big. Okay, so we're going to resize that. So let's go scroll down right here to the left, and we're going to go to resize, and we want that smaller actually. Okay, you see those circles that are going around right here? We want to have it right up against those. Okay, so before we do this though, as you can see, it's green, right? We don't want that green, because that green's going to show up. This is what it's going to look like right here. That green's going to show up in the background. It might look cool, actually. I kind of like that color scheme, but that's not what we want right now. So what we want to do is change that background layer. So let's click over here to background layer, and we're going to go to, I would say, color, and then we're going to see, as you can see, it's denoting the background color to this already. So let's just click that color. We're going to get our tool right here, our grabber tool, and let's just go ahead and click right here. You see this? Oh, we got to get that grabber tool, I think, again, and then click right there, right in that background, because that's the background that we want. And then let's go to choose, and boom, it should make it the same background as that background that we already had. So now we go back to our foreground layer, and then let's go ahead and adjust that now. And let's push it up right up to the edges. You don't want it right on the edges like that. You want it just to, I mean, whatever you decide. To be honest with you, this is up to you right here. You can have it like that if you want, I guess, but that doesn't help. But I think about right there looks good. All right, I think that looks good. So now what we're gonna do is click next. All right, and it's gonna replace all those in the mip-map folders that we're gonna need to change. So let's go ahead and click finish. All right, and it changed all those files. We can close our res, we can close main, source, we can close the app and the Android. We can close that all up. And now let's rerun it. Okay, let's rerun it. Because I think we have to rerun it to make those changes, to rebuild it to make those changes. All right, and then it should open up here now. And this might be the last time we run our emulator, unfortunately, y'all. This is the end of the road here. We're getting there. Oh, yep. Should says it's running, but it hasn't popped up. Let's click it again. Click run again. Any minute now. Let's go ahead and close it. Maybe that's why. Stop it. Let's rerun again. See what happens. All right, running. That looks a little better. It's a little more promising. And while that's doing that, why don't we go ahead and check out one more thing. We're going to check out how to bring in those app icons when it's not an Android application, when it's an iOS application. Okay. So what we want to do with that is let's go back to our browser. Okay. And then in your browser, at the address, type in appicon.co. That's a perfect little app icon generator that you can use. Like I said, I found it from watching Angela use walkthroughs or tutorials, but this is a really good one to use. So for here, all you're going to really do is you're going to drag. Let's do that. Let's just maybe walk through it so we can do it. We're gonna drag our app icon that we have ready to go in our file folder and bring it in there, and then it's asking us what we want to create, what type of files we're gonna want. We don't need the Androids, but we do want the iOSs. We want our XC assets. So okay, we're gonna generate, and it's gonna create a folder for you, a zipped folder. Let's go ahead and show in folder. Okay, and then it's app icons. Let's go ahead and unzip that. We're gonna right click and extract that. We'll just extract it right here. That's fine. This is just for, you know, walkthrough purposes. All right, so perfect. You see right here, this is the aassets.xc assets folder. This folder is what you're gonna want to copy. Okay, you're gonna want to right click, copy that, and then you're going to bring it into here, into your iOS folder. Open up iOS, and it's in your runner folder, I believe. Yeah, that's where you're gonna find that at. That aassets.xc assets folder. Why don't you could probably just right click it and just delete that. Just get that out of here. Cut it, and then just, you know, paste this one in the folder that you brought in right here. Just copy it, right click, copy it, and just paste it in there. That should be the same thing. I've never run a simulator before. I've only used emulators, so definitely let me know if that works. Definitely reach out on the Discord if you're having any issues with that. I would love to know, you know, how that works. If that doesn't work, totally. I don't want to be telling people that works if it doesn't. But that's how you would do that. So you can generate it from appicon.co and get that folder. And inside that folder is where you're going to find right here the app icons, all the different, you know, versions of that icon. So you're going to want to replace that in particular, just like we did in the Android res folder. In here, Android app source main res, just all these mip-map folders, same concept. When we want to replace all those different sizes, the big sizes up to the small sizes, down to the small sizes. So yeah, that was everything. Honestly, that is everything. And let's go ahead and check our emulator. Yep, it's up, ready to go. Let's make sure it's running. Let's check make sure this is working. The text up here looks good. Text down here, yep, looks obscured. We can change the colors of that if we want. Just go to your app file and, assign it, body text under your text theme. And then we're going to go ahead and click next, and then just make sure all these work. We already know these work actually, so let's go ahead and click search. Yep, make sure our toast works. Okay, now let's go into our app drawer. And right there, Flutter Series app. You see, I had already created one using that to test. But this is it. This is what it was before. Remember, it would look like that. It was a default Flutter app icon. Now it has something more custom. You can use any kind of PNG you want. Design your own logo. Go to a website and have a graphic designer create a logo for your business or your app, and you just put it in there and build out your app just as you see in this series, and that should be everything you need. To kind of get started at least. And this is, by no means is a final version of an app. This is just to get anybody started that may not be familiar with it. And, maybe teach you a couple of things that you didn't know about Flutter. But yeah, this is just a launching point. From here, you can go in, create your own custom colors now, create your own custom color files. How to add them to your app, where to adjust them at. If you're running into text theme issues, where to adjust those at as well. Let's go. We'll open that up real quick to follow up. So yeah, so you got your colors file. That's going to go over all your colors if you want to bring them in. We showed how to go over the hex code and how to bring that in, as well as just calling on the color itself. And we just created this, just a simple one. Remember the black to white color scheme, just to get you going, and then customize it, create your own. And then we also created our routes that we used, our home page route, the dashboard as you see here. We have the login page, which was your splash page, your initial page. Then we have the menu page and the settings page. They're flow functionality, but they still give you what you need to get everything going. So now you can build your body out, have grid views, text views, whatever type of layout formats you want in your body. You can just put them in there now and mess with it a little bit. You don't have to. And you do want to break things. You do want to kind of break things to understand why you're getting errors. That means you're gonna learn how to get past it and get through it every time. So yeah, so we went over the routing as well. We created a modular router file. Simple. We basically just had the material AutoRouter and just created a couple named routes, and then did the Flutter pub run right here, and created all of this amazing code right here that we use in our app for navigation. Down here is we created some of those methods and navigate to menu, navigate to settings. As you can see, it's just one line of code, super easy to navigate from A to B. And if you want to pass arguments such as data and stuff like that, you have the ability to do that in AutoRoute too. Definitely check it out. There's tons of features in AutoRoute that you can learn about if you're really interested in it, to learning more about it. And then we also went over our app.dart file, pretty important file. Like I said, it created your routing area. This is your routing, opening up the app, your initial page, as well as the router that we specified. We had our app theme that created the colors and, our button colors and stuff like that. And we had the app text theme, which handled the fonts and the font weights and the font colors. And we had our headline 5, headline 6, multiple headlines for different things, and we can have a body text, and there's other different, things that you can explore as well. We applied our font to that, and yeah, that was it. The main.dart, very simple, and this is really it. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we close out of everything, or minimize at least for now, I'd like to say thank you all for sticking along this long, and definitely share this video if you know anybody that's interested in looking to create an app. Totally share it with them. I would love that. We would love that. We put a lot of time and effort into this. We would appreciate that so much. Thank you. But for now, goodbye until we see you for the next workshop. Danny, Mohammed, if you'd like to say bye to everyone one final time.
Thank you, Carlos, for that overview and walkthrough on toast notifications and app icon. It's been great learning from you, Danny, and those who participated and engaged with us throughout this 5-episode series. And Danny, any closing remarks?
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone for joining us, and I would like to encourage y'all, become a DSC lead by taking your first steps and applying at the link below, as well as liking and subscribing to this channel. We'll be pushing out some amazing content in the future, whether it be specifically, about Google technology, or helping y'all break into resume reviews or perhaps even, cracking the technical interview. So make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see y'all in the next video. Thank y'all so much for joining us.
Thank you all. Bye.
Привет. Hello. Servus.
Marhaba.
Hola. Hello.
I'm inspired that there's so many people working to accomplish the same goal of creating a connected future.
By having students lead clubs on campus directly supported by Google developers, that's the best way to reach out to students.
It's really inspirational always to hear about members of the community who echo your values and echo your beliefs.
I've been listening more than I've been speaking, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing because I'm just getting all these ideas.
Google, it needs to reach a wider audience and be more relatable as a company, and I think Google is one of the brands that is very good at doing that.